This episode is brought to you by the Denver Art Museum. Don't miss Untitled Artist Takeover at the Denver Art Museum this Friday. Join the museum from 6 to 10 p.m. for a Halloween art party. Celebrate Halloween with featured artists Mo Graham and Christina Maldonado Badhand during a night of spooky creative fun. Costumes without masks are encouraged but not required. Join local artists for spellbinding dance and music performances, spooky art-making activities, and fun throughout the museum for all ages. Untitled Artist Takeover is included in general admission and free for Denver Art Museum members. Buy your tickets today at denverartmuseum.org. That's denverartmuseum.org.
Today is Friday, October 31st, Halloween! I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome to CityCast Denver, the show about the city that got bit by a weird animal the other night and has developed an appetite for raw meat.
What? What are you talking
It's
about?
a Halloween. I'm a werewolf now.
Oh, you're a werewolf.
Yeah.
Janie's in the background being like, good job, Paul.
He loves it.
Good joke, Paul. Is this your writer's room back here?
Yeah, maybe we prepped for this for too long. I mean, it was this or I was trying to do something with surveillance and ring cameras and Halloween.
Oh.
Because I think Halloween...
We talked about it last year.
Yeah.
Narky people being like, I left out a giant bowl of unattended candy and then a bunch of just one person took it all. Well, then stay your lazy ass home and hand it out.
Well, okay. Well,
Anyway.
I have a different perspective. Personally,
true.
those people, for me, are heroes. I love the videos of teens
I was
scooping
going to say,
candy.
I love that.
They are very funny,
Yeah.
and please post them and send them to me. I
hate
know it's
it.
going to happen
I
this
hate
weekend.
it. Let kids just do bad things
On
in
Halloween.
private. You know, we all need to be able to. Anyway, this is a whole other conversation for another
We're
day.
getting into it. We're
We
going to
are.
talk surveillance later in the show. But for now, you should know that I am Paul Caroli. It is Friday, and this is the episode of the week where we look back at the week of news. So that's the escalating fight over the mayor's surveillance program.
Mhm.
A
Wow.
string of vandalism at LGBTQ businesses has us asking, is Denver still a good place to be gay? And here we are, of course, taping at the beautiful Dude IDK Studios. It's Halloween. Bree Davies is with me
Hi.
in costume, sort of, almost. Here it is, the rest
Here it
of
is. So my husband knows I brought it, honey. I'm wearing the whole costume, just like you want it. I give my
Is
husband
this,
such
is this
shit.
general astronaut or is this a
Yeah.
specific?
I felt bad. The really sweet barista at Queen City said something to me, and I was like, if that's a reference to something, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just wearing this costume. I wish I remembered because you might have known what she was talking about. But then the man smoking a joint in his bathrobe outside of Dude IDK with his tiny dog said to infinity and beyond, and I was like, yes. I
See,
wish
that's
that
what
was
you
what
want.
this was, but we all know what Buzz's costume looks like, and it's
Yeah.
not this. So,
He-
generic astronaut.
he's
Sally Ride.
More green.
There you go.
There
I
we go.
love
There you go.
that.
Sally Ride.
Yeah.
I'm
there you
Sally
go.
Ride, everybody.
There's that Colorado guy that's like a famous one. My father-in-law loves this guy.
Oh, I feel bad. I don't know. who
There's
that
a statue
is.
of him at the airport. What is his name?
What part of the airport is it in?
By the trains in
Oh.
the concourse, maybe A.
Huh.
God, what is
Well,
his name?
Gosh, we
Gus
look like
Grissom?
real Colorado experts
Stu?
right now.
Stu.
Stu.
Colorado.
Okay.
You know?
Astronaut.
No.
I'm sure. I'll
Jack Swigert?
maybe that might be it. Swigert.
Jack Swigert?
We have a great guest today. He is also in costume. He'll tell us what it is. He's one of our new favorites. For the first time on a Friday, he's got big takes on politics on all over social media. X.com is your favorite.
My favorite.
Adrian Felix,
Yes.
welcome back to the show.
Hello.
Tell
You
us
look
about your
great.
costume.
I am Hermes.
Oh my God.
So I have my feathered feet, my feathered cap.
Did you make those
I sure did.
sandals? Oh my gosh. Those are amazing.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh my.
I
that's
guess
so-
phenomenal.
I take Halloween seriously.
I
'cause
can see that.
I hated it as a kid.
Mhm.
Oh.
It was one of those things that like I was whatever my parents could afford.
Yep.
So
Yes.
adult Halloween, I'm going to do whatever the hell.
You're going to go all out.
Period.
Oh yeah.
Also, I just want to say producer Olivia is not here. She wanted to let us know she's dressed as Mr. Peanut, and she would love to be here flexing on us, but she's not. She's in New York, partying it up, having big fun.
Obviously, you're not asking because we all know what I am. It's so
No.
clear. You just see me and you're like,
I had no
Duh.
clue. I
Thank you.
I was like Barefoot Contessa.
Can I? There's an impression that
Ray.
comes with it. Can I do the
Oh,
impression?
boy.
Please.
Yep.
Okay, it's a little bit explicit, so for the kids
Well, I already
listening,
said like 2 bad words. It's
skip ahead 30 seconds. You did. Okay, so we'll tag it. Whatever. It's fine. Shut the fuck up, Richie. I'm so sorry, cousin. I'm so sorry.
How much we watch this television show clearly is none.
People are freaking out right now.
Doesn't he
They're
like win
freaking
awards for
out.
this role?
Yeah, and he wins more acclaim in Hollywood. Bruce Springsteen in the
Isn't
biopic.
he one of those guys that got hot and popular and then left his wife? I
Is
feel
that
like
true?
that's what I know about
I
him.
also know he recently graduated high school.
Oh, well, good for him.
I know,
He got his
right?
GED.
Yeah.
Us two moms
cool.
over here, good for that
I know.
guy.
I was
whatever
so
his
happy to
name
read
is.
that. I was like, good for you.
Jeremy Allen White.
Bad
Yes.
boy with a heart of
Right?
gold.
He is pretty hot.
He's very handsome.
I didn't buy him as Bruce Springsteen, but
I did like him in those underwear ads.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Him and I think Bad
His
Bunny did
best
some
role.
recently
Oh,
too.
Bad Bunny did way better. But yes.
You know what was
Sorry for
underrated for him was that Iron Claw, the wrestling family.
Oh yeah.
He was like really good.
Was he in that?
Yeah, Zac Efron. I
Oh,
watched it. It was,
I love Zac Efron.
I don't think people saw it enough, but I loved it.
I might go see that just for Zac Efron.
Zac
A lot of hunks in that
Please.
movie.
He's so
A
hunky.
lot of hunks.
What a
Anyway, we should do the show. I do have a little bit of business, a clarification from earlier in the week. Our episode with Senator Michael Bennett, there was an exchange about housing. I've gotten a few emails from listeners about this. So it's not like I'm not calling this a correction. So this is not a segment of Paul Correctly, but I did garble a question about housing and local control and zoning. And I just wanted to make clear what I was talking about when I was asking him about zoning and local control was this lawsuit that 6 cities have filed against Governor Polis after he did an executive order conditioning certain state funding on them adopting his new laws on zoning. And those cities are Arvada, Aurora, Glendale, Greenwood Village, Lafayette, and Westminster. Littleton, not part of the lawsuit, but they are, of course, voting on a big
On a
housing
zoning.
density measure, 3A. And Lakewood, not part of the lawsuit. I heard from a city council member in Lakewood. Thank you for reaching out. They're very proud. They've just done a whole long zoning process where they've passed policies to encourage housing diversity, gentle density, sustainability, and affordability issues. So
Well, thank you all for
thank you
writing
for
in,
reaching out. Glad, happy to
Appreciate it.
clarify. I know how important this stuff is to people.
for sure.
Let's get to our top story.
Mhm.
Okay.
Flock. As we speak, this Thursday morning, city lawyers are finalizing Denver's new contract with Flock Safety to provide surveillance hardware and AI analysis software that will make Denverites safer, according to the mayor. But the criticism is only growing, with a few big revelations this week about how Flock actually works in practice. So we're going to talk about the latest and then talk about what's next. Adrian, have you been following the Flock fight?
I have. Very concerning. I feel like every dystopian writer in the last 100 years is like, no,
Seriously.
run away.
We don't read anymore, so
Yeah, right. Well,
Here
it's
we-
like we're living it. We don't need to read it.
yeah. it's
I
true.
tried to ask the mayor about RoboCop the other day. I brought it up. I want to know what his vision is for this stuff because I'm with you. There's so many examples of this, and the justification is literally what he is saying. It's
Yeah.
don't we want safety? We should use this technology, but what are we giving up?
Everything. Ourselves, our data. I mean, this is what we know. Data is the biggest commodity.
Though,
We've already bought all of the earth,
right. But I also feel like it's one of those things where, in my generation in particular, I'm not quite sure that we know what privacy is.
That's fair.
The Patriot Act has been around for certainly, over 20 years?
Yeah.
It continues and continues. And so we know where it leads. We know where this ends. So
I think the privacy point is really interesting. I was talking to city council member Sarah Parody about this, and she listened to our interview with the mayor. And one of the things she picked out, among many, she's been a big opponent of Flock.
sure.
But one of the things she picked out was how the mayor was saying that in public there's no expectation of privacy, which I think is a norm.
Was a norm. I don't think that can be the norm.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about because I think all this new technology is kind of bringing that into question again.
Yes.
And I wondered how you all are feeling about that, or what that means now that we have technology like Flock.
Well, we've been surveilling ourselves for quite a while.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
your
Ring
phone tells
cameras.
you
Your
where-
phone. I
yeah.
was just thinking about this. Your phone, like on an iPhone, it will categorize people and just pull their photos and name them if you've taken photos of them enough. And the scariest part is I've taken photos of my son every day from birth till 4.5-ish.
Sure.
It can identify who he is through all those stages and
Right.
clump them together. So it's like it knows what he's looked like as he's grown. And that's just like one example of like the data we're collecting on ourselves. But I was at Home Depot the other day just to get a light bulb, and there was a green block following my face on the surveillance camera. And I was like, it's facial recognition.
Like when you're checking out,
Yes.
there's the video of you.
Yeah. And it's like following my face and my husband's face. And my son is at the bottom and it can't register that he's a person. But I was like, and I looked it up, and they do utilize facial recognition technology. It says on their website for fraud protection, which is like, pardon my French, but fuck you. I'm a customer. And so it's just, I don't know if this expectation of being in public means that we're also allowed to have our every move surveilled and tracked and cataloged and put into these packages of data. Because sorry, Flock has a lot of information on us, and we know how much that information is valuable to other things. Like governments and other big businesses.
Sure,
And,
businesses for sure. Corporations, I'm sure, love it. They're like, how do we use this data to make more money? And they do.
yeah.
The Flock, the system, I've learned a lot about this week. And I wanted to talk about something else Sarah Parody shared with me about how they store the data. Apparently they store it for 30 days, the footage these cameras take. And this is her point. This is the next thing that she wants to push for is she says we could set the system so a photo is only captured if a plate has already been flagged, because these are license plate cameras. And she says that would solve for these emergency scenarios that are often held up as like the positive example of
Right.
Flock. And so it would be more forward looking and not backward looking. And she says we're creating evidence when we don't need to. I wonder about how you feel about that change. Like, is that something you think would be satisfying to some of these activists who are so angry about Flock?
I mean, it wouldn't satisfy me, but it feels like at least an approach that feels like it's trying to create a little bit more safety on the part of us just being in the world, just people out driving around. Because we'll talk about this case in a minute, but this other woman who was accused of stealing, and anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Let's do it. Let's get right into it.
So
Tell us about the story.
Yeah, the story of this woman in Bomar. I think the situation happened in Bomar. This cop shows up at her door and is like, we have the Flock technology. We know that you stole a package. And she was like, what? And he was like, literally, you went through this we know where you've been. We can see where you've been through this intersection 20 times. This data is legit. You stole a package. And she was just like, I was not there. This is not what happened. And the cop was so indignant about it.
Right.
I feel like I pulled some quotes from him because I couldn't believe the way he was talking to her. It was like, his approach was guilty until proven innocent, and you could tell she knew that immediately, and she had to prove her own innocence against this data that the cops say they've gathered through Flock. She and her husband compiled a master file with snapshots from her Google timeline, a tool on her phone that can track each stop she makes, statements from the people she interacted with that day. She took a picture of the outfit she wore, a light pink top with black pants and olive green fleece, with a note of when she took off her sweater because it started to get warm outside. That's how much she had to show that she was not the person that stole this package. And the cop was certain. Our data shows this happened. I don't surveil myself. I don't know what would happen if this happened to me. I don't have any proof of where I was. I don't have a dash cam on my Rivian. Like she had dash cam footage of herself.
Right.
Adrian, what did you make of this story?
Well, I think it's one thing to say, like, we have a Flock camera that caught you red-handed committing a crime. But from my understanding, it's the Flock camera knew you were in the area. That's not guilt.
The same. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is not legitimate evidence, and I think that in court it would, there's doubt there. So would it even go through if she had taken it that far?
This is my impression as well. This cop was being a shitty cop.
Right.
Oh, he was
like
awful.
This is a very bad, poor law enforcement.
Right.
This is not how the process should work. I felt like, we'll talk about the other story too, but like I felt like this was a story where Flock was involved, but the actual issue that at least maybe I had a problem with was this cop was not behaving well.
No.
This is not how it's supposed to work.
No.
He said to her, I guess this is a shock to you, but I'm telling you, this is a lock. 100%, no doubt. That's what he said to
Yeah.
her. Like, and she,
Gun on your hip. Pretty easy to be confident, I guess.
Yeah, right?
so she said she had in fact been in the area of Bomar when this happened, but it was to visit her tailor. More than a quarter mile from where the package was stolen for a noon appointment, she collected surveillance images from the tailor of her entering and leaving the building.
I mean, good for her. Good for her.
Good for her. Like, thank God this is hopefully a precedent-setting case. But I can imagine folks that don't have the time or the privilege to
Right.
put into compiling their innocence or other factors that they may be up against when it comes to bias.
Yeah.
This is a white woman in Denver, Colorado. Like,
That's where this
There-
gets really unpleasant. Is like it is kind of an arms race with
Mhm.
technology.
yeah, who can
She had to
afford
protect herself.
who can afford to fight back and have the time and the data and the. So this is not an innocent until proven guilty, at least the way this cop presented it.
Yeah, I think. Anyway, the other situation we could talk about, this other story. So the other story is about this trans hairstylist, Jax Graton,
Graton.
who was kidnapped in Denver and killed apparently in Lakewood earlier this year. 9 News reported, this was after we taped with Mayor Johnson, I think we would have really liked to talk to him about this, that the mayor falsely claimed in a previous interview that flock cameras helped solve this case. In fact, no one has been arrested in the case. And so what, Adrian, the mayor kind of put his foot in his mouth, I mean, to say the least.
I had tweeted that I was very relieved that I never supported this man. I never voted for this man. I think we all know how I feel about incompetent white politicians, in particular the men. Well, first of all, my apologies to the family that kind of had to be drugged through this. And I know that the mayor has since apologized to them.
He has.
They sent a statement. Did he apologize?
He apologized.
He did.
Okay.
Just unacceptable. But it's also one of those things that, despite that, my initial reaction is that if it was me who had made this kind of mistake, I would have resigned. I don't expect the mayor to do that because he doesn't have that kind of humility.
You think he should have resigned?
Of course. This is very egregious. And I think maybe being part of the LGBTQ community and knowing that this is my community that was harmed in this way, and then for the mayor to not only use it as a political point, but to go as far as to lie. Because I do feel that it was a lie. It was not I misinterpreted or I didn't understand. I think he chose to lie.
You think he chose to lie?
I do. I think that he is so committed to Flock that he would be willing to lie to get his way. And I think that is exactly what happened.
I want to say a couple things. Thank you to 9 News. They reached out to
Sure.
Jax's mother,
Mhm.
Sherry, to talk to her about the situation. And she said point blank, this case has not been solved. The mayor has nothing to do with it. And I just thought for a minute about being Jax's mom. Her kid is missing for months. The agony of that, I cannot comprehend. You don't know what's going on. You already know your kid is in danger walking around in the world as a trans person. Then to find out months later that she's been murdered, and then and from what I've heard, at least from folks that are supporters of Jax online, that the Lakewood police haven't been super helpful. They felt like they've had to do more work than the police department's doing. So that's what I think makes this especially egregious. But what I really just felt so wrong about this comment from Johnston was, you're flattening Jax into a statistic.
Sure.
Another trans woman is murdered. Surprise, we solved it. And we used Flock to do it.
Right.
Okay. Guess who's not being protected by surveillance? Trans people.
Sure.
Trans people they're the ones that are being policed by laws that are telling them when and where they can go to the bathroom.
Sure.
And you think that Flock is going to keep them safe? Nothing about the conversations we have around trans people and legislation and police and protection ever, to me, come off as we want to protect this extremely small marginalized group of people.
Right.
And so to use Flock as something that was for the good of the community feels so disingenuous. I would be furious if I was her mother and her friends and her family. No way was Jax being surveilled to keep her safe. Give me a break. And it did not solve her murder. But again, just dropping it in there, a trans woman who is, she's a person. She was a person. She was a hairdresser. She had friends. She had a whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just trans woman murdered. Thanks for solving it, Flock. There's just like so many layers of problems with this.
I have to say, I think for the same reason that Johnston was wrong to bring Jax into his Flock argument, I think it's wrong to bring Flock into the debate about trans issues. I don't think trans people are particularly vulnerable to surveillance. In fact, but
you don't have laws legislating against when you can, where you can go to the bathroom.
Given the fact, that people are wondering what your genitals are in the bathroom.
I agree. I don't know if there's any cameras in bathrooms. I don't know what.
But I mean, people
you're
love
talking
to
about,
survey.
actually.
They want to know.
Yeah, it's about this
Go
culture
on Twitter
of
and
surveilling
you will
other
see
people.
a bunch of people who really do believe that it is their job to know who is in this bathroom and who is not.
Okay, well, that's a cultural issue. But what I'm talking about is we have an example we're going to talk about in a few minutes where there's this string of vandalism at these LGBTQ businesses and organizations. One of them, the Center, had rocks thrown through the windows. And we know exactly who the person is who did it because there were cameras at the Center who captured this man's face. They're going to catch this guy because he is right there on camera. Without that camera, he'd get away with it.
I guess I'm saying with the Jax situation is it just is disingenuous to bring this conversation to a person who was murdered and we couldn't figure out what had happened to her for months, and to say that this in some way solves something. It's just wrong. And I'm sorry, I do think that I don't find surveillance, to me, surveillance in so many of these cases of when we exist in the world harms marginalized people more than others, because I see this comment over and over again, like, well, if you weren't doing anything wrong, it shouldn't matter that you're being surveilled, right? You're innocent. If you don't do anything wrong, there's a lot of people who things are implied about if they're existing wrong in the world all the time.
Right.
If you're, you know what I mean? Like if you just look at statistics of who's prosecuted for shoplifting, things like these crimes that are now more and more surveilled, a lot of this has to do with bias. And I just think that is where the conversation does connect, is trans people are often surveilled and it's not for their safety. That's what I would say.
I agree.
So what's next is the next question here, I think, with Flock. I mean, this is a debate we've been seeing now for 2 weeks. We know the mayor's finalizing his contract. They told me, I talked to his spokesperson today, that they're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. Personally, I suspect that there might be some more points that are sticking points, especially with the wave of criticism right now.
Well, you talked to Sarah Parody. Does she have, because she's been the one that's really been on this.
Yeah.
What does she think is next? Or what is because honestly, as a citizen, I'm not sure what else to do if I don't agree with it.
She told me that some of her colleagues and her, they have this task force they set up after the mayor called on city council to vote no to the contract way back in the spring. And they set up a task force where there's some elected officials, there's some city leaders and some business leaders, and they've been meeting. And this task force, I've talked to various people involved. It sounds like it has been a total bust. Like there's no good communication happening between the mayor's people and council. And there's a lot of disagreement and no back and forth. Because Parody says she has all these concerns. And the mayor says, we're listening to the concerns. We don't understand why you're still speaking out about this. We could just talk about this and we've addressed all of your concerns, all of these issues. That's why the contract is the way it is. Like this was John Ewing's statement to me. He said, these things about not trusting the Flock CEO, it's like, heard, got it. That's the whole point of the short-term extension of this next contract. They're giving us a big discount. That's why the mayor was able to approve this below council threshold.
That doesn't make me feel better about it, though. It feels like, oh, we're giving you a freebie of our, it's kind of like any website that's free and then all of a sudden charges people.
Yeah.
It's like, now that we've got you hooked,
right.
then we're going to charge you, and then we're going to change all these things. And, that doesn't make me feel better.
What is the concern? Is the concern value? about is it the value of the contract? Because that you're saying we got you hooked. Are we not getting the value
I'm
out
wondering
of Flock?
what they're going to get out of us.
Right.
That's what I want to know. Is to me, it's just a data collection thing, and we know how valuable data is. So hook us in. Get Denver. Did you talk to someone at Flock who said we're an important market to them?
Yeah. Well, for Flock, Denver is one of many, many cities across the United States where they're trying to sell their surveillance technology, and they're constantly iterating, developing new technology. It's a pretty new company. It's a startup founded in 2017. They went through Y Combinator, which is a very influential, well-regarded startup accelerator. They have big backing from the likes of Andreessen Horowitz. That's the huge Silicon Valley venture capital fund led by Mark Andreessen, who was a former Democrat who is now cozied up to Trump. They raised most recently $275 million on a $7.5 billion valuation. Their markets are these cities. They're looking for people like Mayor Johnston who are interested in technology, who are fighting the political headwinds around safety in the cities. They want to be able to make progress on safety. And so they have a product that they're saying, hey, here's this could be an answer. You know, we know police are expensive. We know it's hard to hire good police officers. Why not try some of this to start getting those numbers down?
I will just say that human rights groups aren't clamoring to be a part of this or signing off on this thing. So when it's just billion-dollar valuations from big money,
I know, right?
It doesn't say anything good to me. I don't think that they have our best interests at heart as people.
I mean,
We're
have you ever had your car stolen?
No, luckily I've not. I've been really... Oh, no, I have actually. No, it was stolen from in front of my cousin's shop. That's not fair. And they did find it, and it was messed up. I couldn't even barely drive it anymore. But like...
Because that's the human side on the other side. If you've
Yeah,
ever been a
but
victim of a crime and you wanted justice or you wanted your property back, you might think of this technology and the statistics they have to demonstrate how effective it is at helping police solve these crimes and think seems pretty appealing.
At what cost, I guess?
Well, at the cost of all these other things we're talking
I have
about.
to
I
give
know,
up my,
right?
I have to
Yeah.
give up my
False
privacy and my
accusations,
information.
like
Yes.
legal bills, infringement on rights, all that.
Having to contest that you didn't steal a package off of someone else's porch that was a quarter mile from where you were literally driving through.
Because a
That's
camera
the
said
trade-off?
you were in the area.
Yeah, even if that was my package that was stolen, I wouldn't feel like that's the process that needs to
Right,
happen.
exactly.
But
in terms of like what is next, when Mayor Johnston was first elected, I was a committee member of like the equity commission, and it was like very apparent that he's the type of man who he'll take the feedback, but at the end of the day, he's going to do whatever he wants, and that's what's next, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's really irrelevant that, which is unfortunate because the whole purpose is that he serves us, right? That the community has really these strong feelings about it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to this man, just plain and simple.
It 100% does matter. Here's why. He is going to be up for re-election in a couple of years. So
He'll buy it. You know
he'll
how I
get
feel
voted
about
out.
this.
I know you do. You called on him to resign. But that's why we're doing a service to voters to get them the information. If you disagree with him on the values, vote him out. If you have feedback for how the Flock program is working or not working, they want to hear it. That's why they're doing this test for the next 5 months, this next extension. They say that they're listening. So I think if you have concerns, keep airing them. And if you hate the values, disagree, vote them out.
Vote him out, but also be prepared for the millions of dollars that will go into backing him to make sure that does not happen. And I'm sure it'll, just like the first time, work quite well.
That's true. I mean, he has a knack for convincing very rich people to support his campaigns.
Of course.
Paul, have you ever been accused of stealing? Or
the handsome white man?
I'm just thinking about personal experience because, like, when I was a kid, my dad had long hair. He looked crazy, I guess, or whatever. And we would be in a store, and he would like clock it immediately. He'd say "store dick." That's what he called store detectives. You're like, store dick's following us. And it was true. I saw it happen all the time. My dad would just get followed. And like, yeah, my dad looked a little shady, but like, that doesn't mean he was stealing. As far as I know, my dad never stole anything.
Was he in the area?
Right. Was he in the area? But I'm just thinking about all the time. Like, that's just me as a white kid in a white family. Like, I just cannot imagine the types of surveillance and just like invasion of privacy and people's assumptions of guilt that already happen. Adding technology to it. This just,
Well,
again,
and we already know the
I'm
justice system is broken. Like the way that it treats brown and black people as it is before technology, imagine when you add technology to it.
right.
So just be prepared.
And you can train that technology on that bias,
Yes.
which we see already has
Sure.
already happened.
I'm super sympathetic to these questions of bias around this stuff, and I think this is part of why we have been trying to book the CEO of Flock on the show to talk about what sort of safeguards they have in place, how he's thinking about it. I mean, he's made several comments about this that are like questionable. You know, I want to know what product we're getting here. I think the people deserve to know.
So do we know? So
we will
there's
be
a
working on
contract
this.
extension approved. I know folks are still gathering. I think in the next week or so, again, to protest the Flock stuff. But I don't know. I'm just wondering what we should be looking for. I guess.
Well, we're looking for Sarah Parody to propose some legislation on this if she wants to.
right.
And I've also asked if I can attend the next meeting of this surveillance task force so I can see for myself how this communication is going.
Right.
Because I think Sarah Parody is like kind of she and her colleagues, they've really been, up in arms about this publicly, getting support, galvanizing people. So I want to know how that's working and if people are listening to each other. And then, of course, what does the contract actually look like? Because the mayor promised to give us his list of criteria that he gave to Flock that they based their negotiations on. And it turned out afterwards when I was emailing with them that they did not want to do that. But they did send me a press release where they talked generally about these terms.
Sure.
And I've asked them for the contract when it's signed, and the council hasn't been privy to any of that either. So hopefully we get to shed some light on how this is working.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this conversation or this issue's impact on Johnston's, I don't know, tenure or what's next for him?
I was telling John Ewing, the spokesperson for the mayor's office yesterday, I was like, this is seeming more and more like a defining issue for him. I mean, the migrants was a big one. How he's handled homelessness is going to be the main thing that Denverites will weigh when they decide whether or not to reelect him. But this Flock thing is turning into a big liability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The media the narrative is fully against him. You'll see a couple of stories, individual stories about like Flock cameras used to do this, but it doesn't. I mean, this Jack Scruton, this misstep, this is really
Huge.
not.
I'll say
good.
it again. Resign.
Okay.
And I just want to say, if you do want to support Jax's family, there's a celebration of her life this weekend on
Lovely.
Saturday at the Pearl. I don't know her family personally, but I know a lot of folks that knew her, and I saw a really disheartening post from her mom about the celebration of life, saying, "Please just celebrate my daughter because I'm basically having to be in public defending her and her existence all the time, and this stuff with the mayor really shook her up." And she said, "If you care, please come and just show up. I want to fill this room." So I'll put a link in the show notes, but
Good.
just show up and give her mom a hug, So
Well, that's really nice. Okay, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to come back and talk more about this vandalism, this string of vandalism.
This episode is brought to you by the Arvada Center. Fall under the spell of Disney's worldwide phenomenon, reimagined for the stage. Disney's Frozen is a powerful tale of sisterhood, acceptance, and finding the real meaning of true love. Playing November 21st through January 4th at the Arvada Center. Bring the whole family to experience this uplifting winter adventure. Disney's beloved movie featuring Colorado actors and costumes, sets, and theater magic, all created at the Arvada Center. Okay, picture this. It's like Montgomery, surrounded by all his little girlfriends, Charlie, Juniper, Emmy, and Mirabelle, and they are all just full throat voice. Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. And he's just losing his mind because the girls love this. I think he secretly likes Let It Go the same way he secretly likes Pink Pony Club. Like, for some reason, he doesn't want anybody to know, and he's only 4, but I think he would, secretly, low-key also love going to see this show. This show is recommended for kids ages 4 and up. Tickets are available now at arvadacenter.org. That's arvadacenter.org.
This episode is brought to you by Denver Film. Because movie lovers across the city are getting hyped. It's almost time for Denver's biggest celebration of cinema, and you don't want to miss it. I'm talking red carpets, celebs, Hollywood moguls, exclusive parties and VIP events, and you can be a part of it. Honestly, I've always had a great time at Denver Film Fest. Not only do they bring out so many good movies that you can just show up to basically a random theater on a Tuesday night on a whim and see something interesting, but you also have a chance to dress up nice, go out to a packed screening of one of the year's best, because they always bring the best. The Film Fest returns for its 48th year, running from October 31st to November 9th. They're featuring over 200 of the world's best new films, as well as all kinds of other great events. Choose your adventure and get tickets at denverfilm.org. That's denverfilm.org. All right, we're back. Troubling headlines hit early this week about vandalism, a queer gym, a barbershop near GU, a boutique, a hair salon in Lodo, a lesbian bar, and then the Center on Colfax,
It's a very
the
prominent
main organization
institution. Yeah.
advocating and supporting the LGBTQ community here. They had rocks thrown through their windows. And then, to add insult to injury, the Gay Games, an international sporting event city leaders have been courting for months, maybe years, announced that not Denver, but Perth, Australia would host.
Couldn't get farther away from us.
Going to wake up in the middle of the night to watch these pole vaulters or whatever. They're going to host in 2030, not us. So the big question is, the hot topic is Denver getting less gay friendly? Adrian, how are you feeling about that?
Well, in terms of the vandalism, it's one of those things that I have been openly gay for 20 years. I came out when I was 15 years old. I've seen this stuff happen for decades. And I think that the crazy thing about it is that it's always about intimidation, and I don't feel intimidated. Like, this idea that because some white man smashed some windows that I'm not going to be gay today is so funny to me. I mean, look how I'm dressed. Like, come on. Like, I'm going to live my life. It's my identity. And, it's like, can you imagine like a trans person saying, I'm choosing to detransition because some angry person in the community smashed some windows? But I also think it talks about like resilience of our community. It's like we kind of jump at these kind of things to act. But it never works. We're not intimidated. Yeah, I'm still, trust me, it's Halloween weekend. I'm going to the gay club and I'm not going to be intimidated, period. But also the Gay Games, I'm very sad. Like, no one in the city is more sad than me. And let me tell you why. I was going to meet my husband.
I was just going to say, this feels like a fine opportunity to meet some
I had
buff
right.
people from across the
I
world.
had 5 more years of the single life, and then I was going to meet my husband at the Gay Games. And it's gone. My plan is
What are you gonna do?
ruined. I could go to Perth, I guess. But it's ruined.
Go like that.
Go like this, right.
You will
exactly.
meet a man in 5 seconds.
Yeah. So no, trust me, no one is more upset than me. What I will say is I felt this coming from the beginning.
Why? We were finalists.
Well, I think that part of the issue was that yes, it's being held in Denver, but it was too Denver centric in the sense that like we don't have, I think, a lot of like the vibrancy and depth in our LGBTQ community that some larger cities have. So I think that maybe pulling out the big guns and making it more about being American and like having celebs, but it's like we don't have that kind of pull. We just don't. So obviously it's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm very sad. I'm like, I was so close to being married, but it is what it is.
Does Denver who are our gay celebrities?
Me.
Oh my gosh.
Adrian Felix.
I mean, we have
calling your shot there.
Yeah, right
I like
there.
that.
I'll
We
let
have
you know now.
2 winners and 3 contestants on RuPaul's Drag Race.
There
Nina
you go.
Flowers,
Willow
Willow
Pill,
Pill, and Evie Oddly.
Evie Oddly.
All
They're great.
wonderful.
Love it.
Fantastic
Fantastic performers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel bad if I
Governor
don't.
Polis.
Governor
Well,
Governor Jared
They
Polis.
saw one
Hello.
look and went,
He's
Don't you want to see
He's a
him at the
special
gay
kind of guy.
games?
I mean, we're a sports town, right? Paul,
Yeah.
you love the Olympics. Paul loves the Olympics.
Okay,
I don't know if you know this about him. He's gonna laugh it off like he
Yeah.
doesn't.
It's cool. I think it's important.
I prefer
like
the
it.
Summer Olympics, but yeah.
They're all good. The spirit of aspiration for greatness is
But
good.
isn't it a big
Sports-
bummer that we didn't get this?
Honestly,
thing?
the gay games thing has been weird to me because people started talking about it here, and I was like, "What's the gay games?" I had never heard about this, and then I was being told that I needed to be like that. This was going to change my life in some way, and I was like, "Okay, sounds good. Great. We'll do this
Wow.
event."
I mean,
What is it?
Gay people change my life every day.
Right. Wow, Paul.
Had you heard
Wow.
of it? Had you heard of it before Denver was bidding?
To be fair,
Be
I don't
honest.
know much about
Be
sports
honest.
ball.
That's
But, I was looking forward to like tourism and helping our economy. And like there were so many benefits that truly would have come with this. And I was excited for those things, but
Yeah. I don't. Did we have a big booster in the city, like working on our behalf?
Daryl Watson.
Daryl
was
Watson.
the big,
Okay.
was the big one.
Well,
He is
my council member.
gay council member.
Sure.
Mhm.
So he told me he spent. I talked to him this week about it. He told me he spent tens of hours on this, and he was disappointed. I thought his comment. I mean, this guy Daryl Watson, he's going places. Every time I hear him talk or listen to him, I find him to be a very impressive politician. He's a good communicator.
You would.
His comment was similar to yours, Adrian, about the resilience.
Yeah.
Like he's just like about the vandalism. Like my community has seen this before.
Right.
No big deal. We've handled worse and we've been successful. But the reason why he thought we lost is because of the national politics.
Yeah.
He said,
Fair.
we're looking at anti-trans legislation. We're looking at the Supreme Court, looking at gay marriage again. And it's not just LGBTQIA, but immigrants. So this country might not be seen as a welcoming place.
Sure.
I
right
totally
now.
agree. That's what I assumed it was about. Was
Yeah.
like anywhere in America right now is not going to feel like the best place to invite a bunch of queer folks.
Right.
Which really poses the question about what the Gay Games is for, because they just hosted in Hong Kong in 2023. Hong
See?
Kong
Okay.
and Guadalajara. Hong Kong,
Whoa.
pretty repressive place.
Sure.
True.
Right.
True.
So is this the kind of thing where they're
Mm.
going in places and they're trying to like make a difference or like, be a positive
Yeah.
example, be the tip of the spear, so to speak? Or are they going to places that are like particularly friendly already? Or what? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just an interesting.
Well, I mean, if it's about the safety of athletes, we have Flock, so I don't see what the problem is.
You're turning around.
Just surveil everybody.
Good. I
Yeah,
love
you're
it.
being surveyed. It's fine.
Yeah, we paid for this fancy system.
But I do want to say too, in response, it's not that the violence is not scary. It's not that the attacks on queer spaces is not scary.
Sure.
That it absolutely is real.
Right.
But I agree with you. Like, I feel like queer folks have been fighting for existence in the last 150 years for as long as they have been. I mean,
Right.
even before that, but like, because gay people have existed forever. Sorry to
Forever.
some people. But I do think about like the movement in the 90s, like bash back, like so gay bashing was like
Oh, yeah. I'm
how
from
they
Weld County.
described
That
violence against queer people.
Right.
And then there was this big movement, the bashback movement, which was like, fine, we'll meet violence with violence. And so I just see the community as resilient as ever, but not to discount the feelings of fear that, especially like the small business owners, I would say.
Sure. Right.
Like that's scary. You don't know who's watching you.
Mhm.
You don't know, you're just trying to create this space for your community. And if someone is like, sitting in your parking lot watching you every day, like that's scary. So, I mean, I guess the best response to me is just support these places.
Right.
Which is like what we saw with Petals and Pages, right? I think they were vandalized. Community came together. A really nice painting company came out and said, hey, we'll paint over this vandalism. And then everybody painted a mural together. So that's what gay people are going to do.
That's what
Take
we have
care of
always
each other.
done. That's
Yeah.
what we've always done. So,
but
you know,
but
the guy think he really did something and he didn't, but I promise you, we're
I
going to
know.
do gay stuff all weekend. I promise you. I promise you.
I've got a couple more things here, just like on the sour grapes front of like losing this bid. Apparently, the registration numbers for the gay games in Hong Kong and Guadalajara last year were very poor. It was the smallest scale gay games since the first event in San Francisco in 1982.
oh, wow.
So,
Ooh.
So,
Why-
because I don't know sports ball, which sports were included?
great question, Adrian. I have no idea. I read so many articles about this. No one ever explained what the games are.
Hopefully wrestling, because again, I'm looking for a
singlets.
husband.
Yeah, I'm like just Googled it, still having trouble
Yeah,
finding
what
it.
what events?
games?
Yeah,
I don't
what
know.
games?
I've never knew what we were even talking
I
about with
don't
this.
know.
The other one was, Perth, right? Perth. So one, suck it. Perth, more like jerks. But apparently Perth, I was looking up how gay-friendly Perth is, and
Oh, I imagine very friendly.
seems like not bad. In 2017, when there was a referendum in Australia over gay marriage, 71% of Perth voted to approve.
Wow.
So
The original sports that were offered at the first gay games were basketball, billiards, bowling, cycling, diving, golf, marathon, physique,
Ooh.
Who's not in
Physique.
physique?
Lovely.
Powerlifting,
Yeah.
soccer, softball, swimming, tennis, track and field, volleyball, and wrestling. So that was the first
Okay.
games.
So
It's
Olympics
probably
kinda
evolved
stuff.
a little bit.
Sure.
So
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be included. I'd just be going to the parties, to be fair. But
you need people.
right,
there
yeah,
to,
exactly.
have the party.
Okay. Anything else? I mean, what? Oh, here's the last question I have for you two. What would make Denver a nicer place to be gay? What are we missing that would be good?
Gosh, affordable housing.
Right, like housing, healthcare.
Yeah, taking.
Yeah,
I feel like there was
affordability.
that group Joyous Resistance just folded, and I think they supported specifically trans youth,
I don't know
and
about that.
they lost all their funding. So
Oh.
I think if we were just maybe the the baloney DEI reaction, if
Mhm.
that was like met with a little bit more support, that would probably make it a safer, better place for gay folks.
Well, and then obviously politicians that don't like misinform about violence against our community would be a big part of that.
I do just want
Mhm.
to shout out if you're interested in queer sports, there's a deadlifts at the Dome competition this weekend
Ooh.
at Rainbow Dome. It's a queer powerlifting competition. Saturday, if you want to go see some powerlifters and
Yeah,
be in community.
Great plug. Future,
It was in my
future
mind. I was
gay
like-
games participants.
Heck yeah. And at the Rainbow Dome, amazing. Shout out to the Rainbow Dome folks. So
Good idea.
Go check 'em out.
Fun. Okay, we got to go to another break, and we're going to come back and do Rocky Mountain highs and lows.
it's time to go over to our CityCast Denver neighbor and sponsor of this week's episode, Elizabeth Martinez with Compass Real Estate, for our weekly segment, Navigating Denver Real Estate, to answer all of your Denver housing market questions.
Hey neighbors, since today is Halloween, let's talk about a neighborhood with a slightly spooky past, Cheeseman Park. You know it for its stately homes, giant trees, and downtown views that feel straight out of a postcard. But back in the 1800s, this land was Mount Prospect Cemetery. The city converted it into a park in 1908, moving most of the graves and caskets, though a few were rumored to be left behind. As the park opened, the surrounding streets filled with homes. By the 1920s, Cheeseman Park had become one of Denver's most charming neighborhoods, and today much of it is protected through historic districts. The Morgan subdivision to the east, bordered by the park, the Botanic Gardens, Congress Park, and East 8th Avenue, with homes built between 1910 and 1930 in the styles from the City Beautiful movement. On the west side, the Humboldt Island Historic District, covering Humboldt Street between 10th and 12th Avenues, has huge and unique homes. And the Wyman Historic District, also within the neighborhood, features a mix of Victorian, post-Victorian, and early modern homes, such as bungalows. Walking these streets, you'll see bungalows, Tudors, and classical revival homes, each with its own story. Today, these homes are some of Denver's most coveted, blending history, charm, style, and prime location. It's a place where real estate tells a story, transforming from a cemetery with a spooky past into one of the city's most charming, vibrant, and highly desirable neighborhoods. We have a joke that people are just dying to get in.
This segment is sponsored by Elizabeth Martinez with Compass Real Estate. Have a question about Denver real estate? Use the link in the show notes to submit it. Elizabeth might answer your question in next week's segment.
All right, and we're back. Time for the best way to end the week. Rocky Mountain highs and lows, aka wins and fails. We each brought a recent local something. That one of them we think is a win, and one we think is a fail. We're going to talk about them. We're going to do fails first, and Bree is going to start.
Okay. My fail is the situation in Durango with the family detained by ICE while the father was taking his children to school. The Colorado Sun reports that, quote, none of the detained family members has a criminal record or history of noncompliance with ICE reporting requirements, and their asylum case remains active. So ICE has yet again separated another family, traumatized the children in this family. They're saying now that they're going to send the father to Texas. He's their sole provider. Luckily, the Durango community seems very tapped into this. There's been some protests at the facility. There was this headline sort of like violence at these, but
as far as I read from the reporting, this was instigated by uniformed officers, not by, they like threw a 57-year-old woman on the ground. It's just really ugly. But watching families being torn apart who are literally trying to do all the things, the hoops, they're trying to jump all the hoops and do the right things, and they're still being put into this situation is just really disappointing to me. And I think Colorado could do better than that. So my heart goes out to this family in Durango, the Jaramillo Solano family, and the community around them. So that's my fail.
That was a tough story this week.
Yeah.
Adrian, do you want to give us your fail?
Yeah, Mayor Johnston.
Okay. You want to hit him again on the flock stuff, or you got something else?
It's like incompetent, narcissistic, not a good guy. Certainly doesn't care about my safety, and I will say that. Resign. You're a loser. Go away.
Have you met him?
I have, yes.
Have you talked to him?
I have.
What do you think?
So I've known this man for quite a few years. I remember when he was like originally running for governor. Because I was part of the Denver Democrats for many years, like I've had private conversations with him. And again, I was a part of his transition committee. So I've had conversations. Very disappointed, resign. That's my fail of the week.
Well, I mean, just since we've talked to him so many times, Bree and I on this show, maybe we could reflect on how we've seen him grow and change as a mayor.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think he does what I would want a politician to do as a voter. He explains why he makes the decisions he makes, so I have the most information possible to vote accordingly.
Yeah.
Well, provided that it's factual and not misinterpreted or wrong. Hopefully.
That's true. He's not immune to the occasional mistruth or misleading statement.
Sure.
This happens sometimes.
The flock thing was really surprising to me, I guess is what I would say after talking to him.
Yeah.
I just was surprised that was something that he did because, again, we brought up the immigration issue and how he faced that, I thought, very well. I thought he did the best that he could. I always felt like he did have the best interests in mind of newcomers coming to this city against a lot of people's pressure to stop funding the support for newcomers. But yeah, I don't know. The flock thing was just, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I've had good interactions with him in our interviews, and that was just a very surprising turn to me.
Yeah, it kind of touches on the thing that he seems really interested in technology and like moving fast on trying new technology to solve problems and be more efficient. And I think this is one of those areas where that puts him in conflict with a big chunk of his base, which is the more progressive folks that loved his more empathetic approach to homelessness.
Yeah, I would say empathy and surveillance don't necessarily always line up here.
I think this is the conflict he's having, where he's losing some people.
Yeah. Paul, what about you? What's your fail?
Can I actually say one more thing about Flock? Because Sarah Parody told me one more thing that was fascinating. Yeah. Speaking of mistruths and misleading things, she said that the mayor was describing how Flock worked, that it would only capture license plates when it would use the cameras to grab people. And she said, not true at all. She's had a demo of the software. And personally, I would love to get a demo myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But she says that they actually capture the entire back of the car. So the image actually gets the whole car. It's not just the license plate. And that when an officer, say, goes into the Flock database and does a search, because it's powered by AI, what they search for is not a case number of like a individual crime that they're investigating. What they search for is something like, they could search a license plate number, but they could also search dented blue Chevy and find a bunch of images.
What about bumper stickers? Because I might have a lot of them.
They'll search for tacky ass bumper stickers.
They were like Casa Bonita sticker next to the Virgin Mary, next to a Colfax sticker, next to I love people who do drugs. Like,
but in my fail, sorry, I hate to. That was so interesting.
Yeah, it was totally needed.
The fail for me is these union talks at Casa Bonita. The news is Casa Bonita performers, we've followed this for a while. They are going on strike this weekend for 3 days. That means no cliff divers
during Halloween
weekend when they're running this big promotion for Halloween and for Dia de Muertos.
And what do people go to Casa Bonita, especially if out-of-state folks come to Casa Bonita to see the cliff divers? Like,
well, maybe that's debatable. That's kind of at the very core of the dispute.
I've never been, so I have no clue.
What?
Wow.
I gotta take you.
So I think the reason why this is a fail for me is because the negotiations failed. This is a fail for everybody involved. I think Denverites, Coloradans love Casa Bonita, want the Pink Palace to be strong, and we are seeing this conflict take place inside those walls, and our hearts are being wrenched because I think the values on both sides are you want the performers to be paid, you want the company to succeed, you want it all to work, and for some reason these negotiations are not working. They're not seeing eye to eye.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just been such an interesting evolution of our feelings about Casa Bonita, I think.
Agreed.
You know, before the remodel, how people felt about it. We were very, it was ours. We were very like protective of it being kind of shitty. And then it got this amazing remodel, which I think they did a stellar job. I have no criticisms on that. And I love what they did. I think they did a great job. But it put it into this new realm where it was on a higher stage. And all of a sudden there's higher expectations. And with that comes, you know, you've got a bigger, more talent, you know, a bigger talent pool. And not to say that the folks that were working there before weren't talented. Like I said, my husband's best friend was a diver there in high school. But like, it's kind of like a worldwide attraction at this point. And so everyone's watching. And I'm disappointed too, Paul.
Yeah.
I want this to continue to be the pinnacle of something really beautiful that happens in Colorado. So
I believe that it will be. I believe that it will get sorted out, but it'll be painful along the way.
and what a weekend. I mean,
what a weekend to do it.
strategic,
Absolutely.
very smart, but
Okay, so wins. I will start.
Okay.
I chose one. This is for you, Adrian. I know you're a fellow gamer.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing this. My win is this new appreciation that I'm seeing for the mural on the GameStop on Colorado Boulevard.
Okay, yeah.
The Halo
I saw
3
this.
mural. Do you
Yeah.
know this mural?
I do.
Okay, so Jeremy Hohola reported for 9 News recently that GameStop like posted a picture about it, and now people are coming out of state to take pictures with this mural.
Yeah.
Which I have been to that GameStop many times.
Yes.
It's
it's the one attached to Barnes and Noble, right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's a good mural. That was a great game. I loved playing. That's one of the franchises that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
But I never thought to appreciate this as art. And now that I've
kind
been
of took it for
alerted,
granted.
Yeah.
100%. And now that I have been alerted to the fact that this is like, oh yeah, this is a piece of history. I actually do have a connection to this. I would go to bat for this mural. I love it.
Love it. Yeah.
I love when, whether it's corporate or not, human beings are going to gather around something and have feelings about it, especially if it's been there long enough. And I kind of love that about this is like, I'm going to go to this Barnes and Noble parking lot because it means something to people,
Yeah.
to this GameStop where maybe that is the first place they bought a game, or, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's really cool. I like that that we as humans can find those like emotional connections, whether it's like a weird corporate entity or not.
Well,
So-
and of the GameStops in Colorado, that one's easily one of the coolest.
is it?
Yes, absolutely.
I used to just go to the Starbucks next door because
Yeah.
it was like, we called it the International House of Starbucks because
Yeah.
it was like all students from all over the world were studying there. I think a lot of them were DU students, and it was 24 hours a day. Oh, it was great. It was so great, but it's long gone.
Yeah,
Love it.
Halo 3, great game, great game. Finish the fight. If you know, you know. Bree, your win?
Yeah, Chase Woodruff at Colorado Newsline reported Colorado seeing early ballot returns at a higher rate than other off-year elections in recent past and is on pace for the highest off-year election participation since 2019. So congratulations, Colorado.
Right.
Coming out in an off-year election is a big deal. 354,000 Coloradans have already returned their ballots as of last Friday. So keep them coming. But we know this about our audience. They're super engaged. And obviously, I don't know, it just says something. To me, it's a little bit of hope in this political mess that we're in right now, is that people do want to be engaged. And they're using every method possible. And one of those happens to be voting. So good job, Colorado.
You know, my ballot is filled out on my desk.
Mine is
Good for
just
you.
sitting on my desk.
Yeah, no, mine is filled out. I'm ready to go. So what a great reminder that I just need to drop it in the box.
I know. I should just
You
fill
can't
mine
mail
out.
it. It's too late.
No, it is too late, but
let's
take it
drop
to a
in the
box. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adrian, your win? You want to bring us home?
Halloween. What
Halloween.
a beautiful, great weekend. I hope families have like tons of fun. I hope that kids get spooked and have tons of candy. I'm having a Halloween party tomorrow that I'm like so thrilled for.
Yay!
I love Halloween. So that's my win. I hope everyone has like a very fantastic weekend. And I think Denver does Halloween right. I love seeing people, even when it's cold, out in their costumes. Like my costume's pretty short. And I will be out there in the
Oh,
cold.
you will?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't need a jacket.
Right.
I love the memes that are like, I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean? You're the knife from the Britney Spears video when
Right,
she's
right.
dancing with a knife.
Or that all gay men just like put on something leather and then say there's something and it works. Yeah.
I love it.
I mean,
I love gay Halloween.
Yeah, me too, right? No smashed window is going to make me not love
No.
gay Halloween.
That's right. That's right. Damn it. Love it. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. And one final time, just to shut the fuck up, Richie. Thank you all. Adrienne, Bree, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were Olivia Jewel Love, JD Lopez, and me, Paul Caroli. We recorded the Dude IDK Studios in 5 Points with support from Jacob Rupp and Nick Holmby. Peyton Garcia writes our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Abby Madigan runs our social media, which you should check out. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver. And tell the people who put up that skeleton across from Lakeside. This is my favorite Halloween decoration. I saw a skeleton holding a sign that said, release the Epstein files. That's funny. Good Halloween decoration. Tell those people about us. And thank you all thanks to all the neighbors who have joined our membership program. You can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. And sign up for that daily newsletter I mentioned. Learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. See y'all next week.
Good job, Bob.
Boo.